Hello Math 95 students, we are doing a short little unit on graphing quadratic functions. We could also call this graphing parabolas because all quadratic functions graph these curves called parabolas. They may open up, they may open down. They can be very steep, they can be very wide. They can shift up, they can shift down, they can be in the center. This line right here is called the axis of symmetry. It's a line that runs right down the middle of them. And this point right here in the middle where they turn, the turning point, is called the vertex. You see the vertex located right here or right here. Okay, so our first 9.1, section 9.1 is about quadratic functions or parabolas when they're in what's called vertex form, okay? There's two different forms of the equation. They're both quadratic equations, but one of the forms is called vertex form. The other form is called standard form. And we'll see how to graph these parabolas when they are in either form. Okay, so vertex form is this right here. F of x equals a times, parentheses, x minus h, close parentheses, squared, plus k. All right. So, if you have f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay, the vertex is given. This is called vertex form, by the way. All right. And the reason it's called vertex form is because the vertex is very easy to identify from the equation itself. The vertex is located at the point HK, where H is the x coordinate of the vertex and K is the y coordinate of the vertex. Okay, so whatever number is in here in this parentheses with the x, whatever number is with the x in parentheses and it's squared, that number, actually the opposite of that number, is the x coordinate of the vertex. That's why it says minus h right here, but it doesn't say minus h right here. It says it's a positive h. And whatever number is outside, not with the x, but outside of the parentheses, is whatever number comes after the squared exponent. That number is the y coordinate of the vertex, and it's not the opposite. Notice this is plus k, it's a positive k. This is also a positive k as the vertex. All right. A is the steepness factor. Okay, it's the steepness factor. Okay, if A is, let me say this, if the absolute value of A is greater than 1, so let's say A is like a 2, or if A is a 3, or if A is a 10, or if A is a negative 5, or a negative 100, the parabola is steeper. If the absolute value of A is less than 1, the parabola is flatter. Okay, let's do some examples and then I'll try to explain to you, kind of give you some steps to follow. Let's graph a few of these parabolas. I should say this too. If A is negative, the parabola opens downward. I should say that too. All right, so let's try these two. What I want you to do is identify the vertex first. Okay, identify the vertex. What is the vertex here? There is nothing added to the x inside of a parentheses. Therefore, the x-coordinate of the vertex, the h, in other words, the h from this formula up here, the h, there is no h. Therefore, the h is understood to be 0. Right? Because adding 0 is the same thing as adding nothing. There's also nothing added after the squared exponent. In other words, k is also nothing, or k is also 0, we could say. So the vertex of that is 0, 0. This is the basic parabola. It's the parent function of the parabola. Y equals x squared. Okay? I'm just going to show you this. You don't have to do this normally, but I want to show it to you on this first example. If we plug in these numbers for x, if we plug them into x here, if I plug negative 2 into x, negative 2 squared means negative 2 times negative 2, that's positive 4. I get a positive 4. If I plug in negative 1 for x, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. If I plug in 0 for x, 0 squared, 0 times 0 is 0. If I plug in 1, 1 times 1 is 1. If I plug in 2, 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. So these, I can graph these ordered pairs. Notice I have a 0, 0 here, and that's my vertex that I also got up there. Let me make this a little bit better. I mean, a whole lot better, but anyway. Okay, I've got 0, 0. I've got 1, 1. I've got 2, 4. I've got negative 1, 1. And I've got negative 2, 4. Okay. This is my parabola. I like to use 5 points to do the parabola. Okay. The vertex and 2 points on either side of the vertex. Now I'm going to show you a shortcut. Once you identify your vertex, okay, I'll write it down for you. Identify vertex. Identify and plot the vertex. Okay, that was this point right here. Then go over 1 and up 1 on each side. Okay, that's this point. Let me do it in red. That's this point and this point. That was over 1 and up 1 on each side. Okay. Then go over 2 and up 4 on each side. Let me show you why this makes sense. Because it's x squared, if I go over 1 from the vertex, what happens when I square 1? If I square 1, I get 1. That's why I go over 1 and up 1. But if I go over 2, what happens when I square the number 2? When I square the number 2, I get 4. That's why when I go over 2, I don't go up 2, I go up 4. That's what makes it curve upward. Now, let me do this in a different color. I'm going to do this in blue. Okay, there are those 2 points. When I go, so on the red one, I went over 1 and up 1 on each side. On the blue one, I go over 2 and up 4 on each side. Okay? That's what that was. All right. Okay. And you can kind of follow those steps as a shortcut to graph these every time. Now I'm going to add one more thing in there. Not yet, but I will in a second. But that's kind of what you can do every time. Let's do this next one. All right. Let me do black right here. What's the vertex? Again, there's nothing added with the X inside of the parentheses, and there's nothing added with the X outside after the squared exponent either. So the vertex is again 0, 0. Okay? So I have a vertex at 0, 0. But this time, notice that I have a 2 in front right here. That's going to make it go up faster. So if I follow these steps, I just need to change these steps just a little bit to account for that. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Instead of going over 1 and up 1, I go over 1 and up 1 times A. A being the number in front of the X squared. And I go up, on this last line, I go up 4 times A. Okay? On each side. And that's pretty much all the steps. I don't think I'll add anything else to that. So let's follow those steps on here. I've identified my vertex. I did. It's 0, 0. I put my vertex. Next, I go over 1, and up 1 times A. What is A? A is 2. That's A. That is A. So I go up 1 times 2. So I go over 1, and I go up 2. On each side, I go over 1 and up 2 on each side. And then I go over 2 and up what? I go up 4 times A. What is A? A is 2. So I go up 4 times 2, which is 8. So I'm going up 8. I go over 2, and I go up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On the other side, I go over 2, and I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here's my parabola. It's a steeper parabola than before. It goes up a little quicker than the original parabola. It's just the X squared one. Okay, that's what we're going to do every time. Those are the steps. These steps right here are going to be followed every time. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay? Now let's do some more examples. Okay, first identify the vertex. What is the vertex here? The vertex is 2, 3. Okay, the vertex, even though that says -2 in there, the X coordinate of the vertex is always the opposite of what that number is in the parentheses. Okay, this is always the opposite of this. If that was a X plus 2, then the vertex would be -2 right there. The Y coordinate of the vertex is always whatever this number is. So since that's a +3, this is a +3 also. Did you catch that? Again, the x-coordinate is the opposite of the number in the parentheses with the x. The y-coordinate is not the opposite. It just is whatever that number is outside of the parentheses. So I'd go ahead and identify this vertex. What is this vertex? Since that's a positive 4, what's the vertex? It's negative 4, positive 1. The opposite of the x, the opposite of the number in there with the x, but it's the same as what that number is outside of the parentheses. Okay, I'm going to graph this. I have a vertex at 2, 3. There's my vertex. And then I'm going to go over 1 and up 1, over 2 and up 4. There is no A, right? There's no A right here. There's no A. No A. Therefore, I go up 1, over 1. I'm sorry, I go over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4. Because there's no A. Or I could say that the A is just understood to be 1. So I don't have to multiply the 1 times the A or the 4 times the A in this case. Okay. So I'm going to go over 1 and up 1. On the right side, I'm going to go over 1 and up 1 on the left side. And I'm going to go over 2, 1, 2, and up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the right side and on the left side. Over 2 and up 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's my parabola. Okay. Go ahead and put my vertex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Here is my vertex. Negative 4, 1. Okay. From there, do I have an A? Yes, I have an A. What is my A? My A is right here. It's that negative sign, but that negative sign kind of means what? A is negative 1. It's understood to be, that negative sign means an understood negative 1. So I'm going to go over 1 and up 1 times negative 1, which is negative 1. I'm going to go over 2 and up 2 times negative 1, which is negative 4. So when I say I'm going up negative 1, that really means I'm going down 1. Okay? This means go down 1. This means go down 4. Okay, so once again, let me put me some extra dashes in here so I can count. Okay, I'm going over 1, down 1 on the right and on the left. I went over 1 and down 1. And I'm going to go over 2, 1, 2, and down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over 2, 1, 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my 5 points for my parabola. Okay. I know it's probably a little confusing, but maybe you're getting sort of the idea. Maybe when we do about 3 more examples, you will have the idea. what is the vertex on example 5? The question is, what is added in this parentheses with the x? Nothing. Nothing is in the parentheses with the x. Nothing is added with the x in parentheses. Therefore, the x-coordinate, in other words, the h, the x-coordinate is nothing. It is 0. What is added after the squared exponent, outside of the parentheses? It's a 1. There's my vertex. Okay, my vertex is 0, 1. 0, 1 is right here. Okay, I'm going to go over, from my vertex, I'm going over 1 and up 1 times what? Times 2, because the 2 is the a right there. So I'm going up 2 this time. And I go over 2 and up 4 times 2, which is 8. So I usually go over 1 and up 1, but instead I'm going over 1 and up 1 times a, which is 2, so that means I'm going up 2. Normally I go over 2 and up 4, but since a is 2, I go up 4 times a, in other words 4 times 2, which is 8. Okay, so I'm going over 1 and up 2. 1, 2. On both sides. And I'm going to go over 2 and up 4. 1, 2. I'm sorry, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same thing on the left. Over 2, 1, 2, up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's always symmetrical on the about that vertex, by the way. Whatever you do on the right side of the vertex, I kind of missed it, sorry. You do the same thing on the left side of the vertex. Okay. Let's do the same thing over here. What's the vertex? The question is, what is added with the x in parentheses? We have a plus 6. That means the x-coordinate is going to be what? Negative 6. It's always the opposite of that. And the next question is, what is added after the squared exponent outside of the parentheses? And the answer is nothing. That means the y-coordinate is 0. So the vertex is negative 6, 0. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go ahead and put another 2 for extra measure. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to have to go lower than that, I know. 9, 10, 11, 12. So negative 6, 0 is my vertex. From there, I'm going to go over 1 and up. Normally it's 1, right? But in this case, it's 1 times what? It's 1 times whatever that number is in front of the whole thing, which is negative 3. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. So I'm going over 1 and up negative 3. That means go down 3. And I go over 2. And I go up 4 times negative 3, which is negative 12. In other words, go down 12. Okay? So I'm going over 1. I'm going down 3. 1, 2, 3. Over 1, down 1, 2, 3. Go over 2, 1, 2. Go down 1, 2, 3, and a long way. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Over 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Kind of might have counted too many there. But anyway, once you get one side done, you can just make the other side match it. And here's my extra steep parabola. Oh, I sure messed that. Let me pardon my inability to write very well on this computer screen. Quite often. Okay. So there we go. There's that parabola. Notice it opened downward. And every time we have a negative, it's going to open downward instead of opening upward. Okay, let's try one more. F of x. Let's try putting kind of all of it together. Let's try 2 times x minus 3 squared minus 4. What's the vertex? That's the first thing to do. The vertex is positive 3, negative 4. Okay, positive 3, negative 4. One, 2, 3. I'm going to go over some more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, negative 4 is right here. There's my vertex. I'm going to go over 1 and up what? Up 1 times 2, which is 2. Over 2, up 4 times 2, which is 8. Okay. Over 1, up 2, 1, 2. Over 1, up 2. Over 2, up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not 4. I did that wrong. It's supposed to be 8. Let me try again. Over 2, up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Over 2. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here is my parabola. Something like that. Alright, now I want to just go through a few of your homework problems to show you, just kind of so you help you get the feel for how to do these on your homework. It says graph the function by hand, give the coordinates of the vertex, then use the graphing calculator. We're not going to use the graphing calculator to verify our work, but we're going to graph it on this graph. And we're not even graphing it by hand, we're just graphing it on the Math Excel graph here. F of x equals 8x squared. First of all, what is the vertex? There's nothing added with the x in parentheses, and there's nothing added after the x squared. Therefore, the vertex is what? It is 0, 0. Okay? The vertex, let me write on this thing. The vertex is 0, 0. So I'm going to put a vertex right there. Now I'll show you what to do in just a second when how you're going to put your points on here. And then we're going to go over 1 and up what? 1 times what? There's an 8 in front of that square. So 1 times 8, that's 8. We're going to go over 2 and up 4 times 8, which is 32. Now we ain't going to be able to fit that. That point ain't going to fit. Won't fit. So don't even worry about it. If it won't fit, it won't fit. You won't even have to make it fit. But we're going to put a point over 1, up 8. So right there and right there. And it's going to be pretty darn easy on Math Excel to make these parabolas. It's actually a lot easier to do it there than it is by hand. So let me show you how we do this on Math Excel. All right, I'm going to click this because this is going to make it pop out and make it just kind of look better. You click, you have these different things. We're going to click this one because that's the vertical parabola tool. That's what we're graphing parabolas. You click the vertical parabola tool, right here. First, I put a point on my vertex, which is 0, 0. Then, all I have to do is put one more point, and it'll graph the whole doggone parabola for me. So what's my other point? I go over 1 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And notice it already put it put the whole curve on there. All I had to do was put that vertex and then one extra point, and it graphed the whole parabola for me. So that's all you got to do. It's easy on Math Excel actually. Once you do that, click Save, click Check Answer, and it's over. Let's do another one. Oh, it asked me another question. What is the vertex? The vertex is, you just type in parentheses 0, 0. There's your ordered pair for the vertex. Click Check Answer, and you're done with that. Let's go to the next one. All right. Negative 5/4 x squared. I don't like that one. I think I will delete that one from the homework so that you won't have to deal with that. We can certainly do it, but it's just kind of a little bit much for you at the moment, I think. So I'm going to remove that one from your homework so you won't have to worry about it. Let's go to another one. Now let's look at this one. 2x squared minus 3. What's the vertex? The vertex is 0 because there's nothing added with the x in parentheses. Negative 3 because minus 3 is added or subtracted outside of the squared, outside of the parentheses. So my vertex is 0, negative 3. Again, I click the vertical parabola tool. I put a point on 0, negative 3. That's right there. Then I go over 1, and normally I go up 1, right? But I'm going to go up 1 times 2 because 2 is the number in front of the x squared. So I go over 1 from the vertex, and I go up 1, 2. I go up 2. And that's all, the only point I have to put, and it graphed the whole parabola for me. And that's it. Check my answer. That's it. Put my vertex here now, 0, 3. Sorry, 0, negative 3. And that is my vertex, and on to the next one. All right. What's the vertex of this one? Since that's a plus 2 inside the parentheses, the vertex is going to be negative 2. And since there's nothing outside of the parentheses that added, 0 will be the y-coordinate. Negative 2, 0 is my vertex. Negative 2, 0 is my vertex. This time there is no a. There's nothing in front of the x squared. So I can just go over 1 and up 1 and put my point. And that's it. It's really simple in Math Excel. I forgot to put my vertex. Negative 2, 0. I'm skipping ahead to problem number 14 because a lot of those problems were just like ones I've already done for you. So let's try number 14 because it's a little different. Decide whether it is possible for a parabola to have no x-intercepts. If it is possible, find an equation of such a parabola. If it is not possible, explain why. It is possible for a parabola to have no x-intercepts. If I have a parabola that's up here, it has no x-intercepts. Or if I have a parabola that's down here opening downward, it has no x-intercepts. So let's find one that either fits this description or this description. Where is this vertex? Negative 3, negative 4. That's down here. It's going to open up, so that's not one. That's going to have 2 x-intercepts. What about negative 3, positive 4? Negative 3, positive 4. That's up here, and it opens upward. So that one does not have any x-intercepts. So choice B is going to be the one that we want. This one here, by the way, x minus 3. That's going to be over this way, over 3, and it's going to be 0. By the way, this one should have been over here too. This one also should have been over here. Should have gone to the right 3. But anyway, it's still the same answer. You get my point. So this one's going to be, it'll have 1 x-intercept, so that's not right. So choice B is the correct answer here. Let me go back to Math Excel and type that in. All right, next, number 15. Is it possible to have 2 x-intercepts? Yes. I could have one like that, or I could have one like that. Either way, it has 2 x-intercepts. So what is choice A look like? It's going to be the vertex is at -5, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my vertex. It's going to open upward. It's going to have 2 X-intercepts. Choice A is the right answer. Choice B, the vertex is right here. It only has 1 X-intercept, so no. Choice C, -4, is right here. It has no X-intercepts. Choice A is the correct answer here. Let me go type it in. Number 16. Decide whether it is possible for a parabola to have 3 X-intercepts. A parabola will never have 3 X-intercepts. It can only cross the X-axis twice at the most, because it can never turn again and go back down and hit it, or go back up and hit it, or whatever. So it's not possible. So we're going to just choose choice D, move on. A student says that to graph this, we translate the graph of y equals x squared up by 4 units. Is the student correct? The student is not correct, because what's the vertex of this guy? It's -4, 0. So we don't go up at all. We go to -4 on the x-axis, and we don't go up or down at all, because the vertex is -4, 0. So it doesn't go up by 4 units. It goes to the left by 4 units. So the student is incorrect about that, and I will choose that. And so this finishes up. Let's see. What's this next part? We'll translate the graph of x squared to the what? To the left by 4 units. To the left by 4 units. That's the last one. Quick check answer. Correct. And that finishes up all of the homework questions and all of the examples. Good luck on section 9.1 homework. I'll see you again in 9.2.